This video is brought to you by Mubi, a curated streaming service showing incredible films from around the globe. Get a whole month free at mubi.com/purekino. Throughout The Sopranos, the FBI is a constant enemy of the DeMeo crew. They bug Tony's house, turn his closest friends into informants, and all the while pursue a lengthy investigation to take him down. One of the central characters on this side of the law is Agent Dwight Harris, a member of the task force investigating the Mafia. Harris serves as the main federale we get to know in the series. Though he and Tony are ostensibly enemies, as the series goes on and priorities change, so does their relationship. By the end of it, it's hard to tell whose side Harris is really on. Is he a defender of justice, or a friend of the mob? Let's take a look and find out. Harris is introduced in the Season 1 episode, The Legend of Tennessee Moltisanti, where he searches Tony's house as part of a warrant. He doesn't want to traumatize Tony's family by kicking in a door, showing a level of empathy the other agents don't have. When another agent, Grasso, breaks the bowl in the kitchen, Harris acts as a mediator and calms everyone down. Even still, Tony thinks this is an act and calls him a snake.
That one guy wasn't so bad, Harris.
Trust me, he was the biggest snake out of all of them. It's all part of his little act.
After the attempted hit on Tony's life, the FBI bring him in and offer him a deal. This is where we are first introduced to Frank Cubitoso, the lead agent in charge of the investigation. Cubitoso shows contempt for Tony, saying despite the fact that they are both Italian, they are nothing alike.
You and I are not Gambata, Tony. You on the one hand, me and Agent Grasso on the other, even though our ancestors all hail from the same sunny peninsula.
He then plays him the recorded conversation of Livia manipulating Junior into doing the hit, in order to break Tony down and get him to cooperate. It should be noted that Harris looks uncomfortable with doing this to Tony, again showing a level of empathy towards him. Despite the continued investigation, Tony and Harris develop a friendly relationship. They shake hands and are seen chatting at the end of house arrest. However, at the end of Season 2, Harris is part of the team that arrests Tony after finding the stolen airline tickets in his car. They have plans to indict him with Livia's testimony, however, her death ends these plans. By the way, this was going to be the original plotline to Season 3, but Nancy Marchand's unfortunate death in real life forced them to quickly rewrite the story.
The airline tickets. Mail and wire fraud, especially if the mother testifies in exchange for immunity.
Come on, whose own mother's gonna testify against him?
Harris then leads a team to plant a bug in Tony's house in the Season 3 premiere, Mr. Ruggiero's Neighborhood. This episode is unique as it focuses on the FBI's point of view and all the hoops they have to go through in order to get this wire. It gives us an insight into how difficult their investigation really is. They successfully plant the bug, but Meadow inadvertently removes it when she takes the lamp it's planted in back to her dorm, saving Tony without him even knowing it.
But wait a second, where are you going with that lamp?
I'm taking it. The Halogen Nana gave me gives me a headache.
Hey, don't change the goddamn subject, both of you!
I'm out of here.
Yeah, be sure to call me when you need some money!
With the investigation going nowhere, the FBI try a new strategy. They send an undercover agent, Danielle, to become friends with Adriana and get information out of her. They eventually discover that she helped cover up a murder and force her to become an informant to avoid prosecution. Harris is part of the team that handles her and the other rats in Tony's crew.
So what about my Alan Stewart shirt from that meeting? Ralph Cifaretto spilt my coffee and ruined it.
I can petty cash it, resubmit, okay?
However, things change in Season 6. In the wake of 9/11, Harris is transferred from the Mafia division to counterterrorism and spends some time in Afghanistan.
Agent Harris, where you been? Got some new federale in my rear view for 6 months.
Actually, I've been in Pakistan.
Get the fuck out.
Seriously, I was transferred to terrorism.
When he returns to New Jersey, he offers Tony goodwill if he'll provide him with any information about terrorist activities. Tony tips him off to 2 Arab drug dealers that he knows from the Bing, though how much they are actually involved with terrorism is unclear. This marks a complete change in their relationship. Harris begins to act like an ally to Tony, showing concern for him when he's shot. He also begins providing him with information in his conflicts with Phil Leotardo and the Lupertazzi family. Harris does this in part for information about terrorism, but also says that he has a personal animosity against Phil Leotardo, who tried to set up a female agent for a rape and beating in the past.
Phil Leotardo. My first assignment out of the academy was in Brooklyn. Never cared for him. He tried to set up this other rookie, female, for rape and beating.
Tony himself also shows sympathy for Harris when he learns about the parasite he picked up overseas.
Fuck him. I hope that parasite eats his asshole out. Kinda feel bad for the guy.
Harris continues to hang around Satriali's throughout the season. Christopher suggests that the reason Harris keeps coming around is because he misses them, and Harris doesn't deny this.
You know what I think? I think you don't come here for the sandwiches. I think you come because you miss us.
In the series finale, Harris gives Tony's Phil's location, which he obtained from sleeping with a female agent working Phil's case. Some fans think this might be the agent that Phil intended to have raped, but there's no evidence either way. However, what we do see is that Harris has gone completely Team Tony. In his final scene, when he learns that Phil was killed, he shows excitement for Tony's victory.
Good old beat. Phil Leotardo got popped.
Damn, we're gonna win this thing.
This is actually a reference to a real-life incident, where Agent Lindley DeVecchio gave information and support to his informant Greg Scarpa. Though he was investigated for corruption, he was never prosecuted. Overall, Harris is an interesting character. Though he begins this series actively trying to bring Tony down, by the end of it, he's one of Tony's most useful allies. What brought about this change, and what does it say about him as a federal agent? Well, one possible reason for this change is of course 9/11. As the US government is focusing all of its efforts into fighting terrorism, the Mafia just isn't the same priority it was at the start of the series. Once Harris is transferred, he no longer has any reason to care about Tony's involvement in the mob. And not only that, but he's able to leverage Tony's knowledge of the underworld to further his investigation of suspected terrorists. However, this doesn't seem to be the reason why Harris goes out of his way to help Tony. After all, even if he isn't on the Mafia task force, his colleagues still are. They're still trying to build a case against him, and it doesn't make sense for him to fraternize with their target and possibly endanger their investigation.
Can you really not be aware we've been building a RICO case against Tony Soprano for 5 fucking years? Then you blow this popcorn fart.
Furthermore, Tony's information about possible terrorists is suspect at best, and Harris seems to be aware that Tony is only providing useless information in order to get information from Harris. But yet despite this, Harris goes out of his way to get information on Phil's location to Tony that he knows will result in a murder, which is almost certainly corruption in the eyes of the Bureau. Of course, there is the personal animosity he feels towards Phil for setting up a female agent to be raped and beaten, but in his final scene, he doesn't cheer the fact that Phil is dead. He cheers that Tony is going to win. This seems to suggest that his feelings for Tony are what's motivating him, not his feelings for Phil. Now, don't get excited. I'm not claiming Harris is in love with Tony or anything, though I'm sure I could make a great clickbait out of that title. No, what I think is, he's become attached to Tony in a way that's unhealthy for a law enforcement officer. From his first scenes with Tony, we see him sympathize with him in a way the other agents don't. And as the series goes on, this friendly attitude develops into full-blown culpability. This is something we're warned early on could happen.
These things can work two ways, Skip. You can find yourself getting too close.
The irony of Harris's character is that he is the snake Tony said he was. Only it's the FBI that he's duplicitous with. In the end, Even Tony's enemy is sucked into his charisma, just like we the audience are. That, or he's secretly in love with him.
The lovely Agent Harris and I have had this conversation.
Special thank you to the sponsor of this video, Mubi. Mubi is a curated streaming service, a place to watch incredible cinema from around the world. If you're someone like me who's obsessed with learning more about great directors and filmmaking, this is the platform for you. Every day, Mubi premieres a new hand-selected film. From iconic directors to emerging auteurs, there's always something new to discover on the platform. It's like having your own personal film festival, streaming anytime, anywhere. One thing you have to check out if you're a fan of cinema is Notebook, Mubi's daily international film publication. They have articles covering film news, analysis, and even movie poster reviews. You can try Mubi free for 30 days by going to mubi.com/purekino, or by clicking on the link in the video description down below. Thanks again to Mubi for sponsoring this video. I just transferred to the FBI's YouTube division. Wanted to introduce you to my new patrons. Tommy Smith, Abdal Alamari, Russell, Sean, Graham, Heart of Markness, Broccoli, Placenta Juan, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Ops Gracing Media, Daz J-Kit, Conan Higgins, Irish Nachos, Sharose, Greg Penna, Stephen Lillard, Rex Lee, Sam Cedarland, Sandy Wren, Don Lucania, and Celery Man.